No viewer? No viewers? It's to see if I have the stream online. Yes, I do. Let's go ahead and get in the game. I gotta make sure my stream is on, because what happens, sometimes my stream just turns on, and it looks like it turned on, and then, you know, it doesn't do anything. Maybe hopefully we can get the bars finished today. So, I think today's been an interesting day. Yeah, so, yeah, we probably have to get a little political today, because today was a very interesting day. We literally had the whole goddamn president speaking out. I was going to, quote, end an entire civilization tonight, and apparently we reached a deal. And oil is starting to go down. Now, oil it's at 96.61. It is down substantially, but here's the thing: they said 2 week ceasefire, which, you know, bring in an account of the actual Israel-Gaza ceasefire. I don't care. You guys can see me as quote-unquote biased. I think we're gonna screw them over. Honestly, America has a history of screwing over shit tons of countries. We make these deals, but then we actually stab them behind the back because that's just us. And it really It really sucks. Here's the thing. Let's say we do ceasefire for 2 weeks. The prices of oil may go down. But if it re-begins, well... I don't think I have to explain why that. It's bad. Also, I mean, there's a lot of people thinking that we are about to literally deploy either like a Moab or a nuke today. And by the way, that's scary. The fact that, you know, dude can literally go from saying, I'm gonna wipe out civilization to like, whatever. That's scary. Clearly, he's gotta have dementia. Or Alzheimer's. Trump has to have dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. No offense, but I've gone to living homes. I've gone to nursing homes. And a lot of the old people in that building and nursing homes I go to are more lucid than the guy who's in the White House right now. I mean, the guy is literally mentally gone. Dude says windmills cause cancer and, quote, they are losers. Yes, an inanimate object is a loser. And yes, they're causing cancer. By the way, the only way you can get cancer from a wind turbine, essentially, you have to illegally break in, climb up the bastard, go find your gearbox, pop that bastard open, and start chugging all the lubricants inside. That's how you get cancer from a wind turbine. You have to literally go out of your way to go do it. Man, and by the way, even if he was saying, oh, we shouldn't have them because they cause cancer, it's kind of like, you know, all the stuff that we, you know, polluting the air from, you know, refining oil and stuff. Wonder, you know, that causes cancer. You know, oil is extremely toxic, even on skin contact. Oil is pretty sure carcinogenic, but again, oil is still very expensive right now. I did see the gas price go down about $4.05. But again, no matter again if we stop, it is going to take a while for them to go back to normal. But I think I know something. I bet you the reason he wants to get out of this war, he knows. Oh, here. I think we all know that this war is insanely unpopular. It is it's just another endless money pit. That's what it is. I mean, with the money we spent on the war so far, we could have upgraded all of our National Weather Service radars to actually benefit all 330 million people here in the United States and shit. You can actually invest that money in the infrastructure, you know, revitalize our interstates, which are notoriously, you know, prone to issues and that like you know, road wear and stuff. Or please don't get me banned off YouTube. Public housing. Or how about we feed people? How about we do that? It's actually shocking to me how there's probably some people in this world that I could say, hey, I want to live in a country with free healthcare. I want to live in a country where, you know, if I break my freaking leg at work, I don't have to basically sell my left testicle in order to pay it off. But, oh, can't have that. That's socialism. Like, my god, I went to go get a blood draw, and that bitch cost, it could cost my family $2,000. Because I touched the needle on accident. On accident. They didn't mean to do it. Now it costs $2 grand. That is more money than I make in 3 goddamn months. Explain to me how that's fair. God, why is it splashing? It's annoying my ass. Here's what I think. I think he knows that this war, the president knows that this war is unpopular. He knows his pull and approval is shit. And even though he doesn't want to admit it, even though he doesn't want to, you know, say it out loud, he knows his approval is shit. It's the worst of any president in the past, what, 50, 70 years? It's ass. It's so ass that he literally threatens bolsters unless they make him look good. I think he's trying to get out of it. He's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna make, Iran's gonna revolt, take back your country, and then, you know, the guy who actually took control of the country is the guy the guy we just killed, their leader. It's his son, and his son is like way worse. So we have exacerbated the issue. We have bombed the country. We have illegally went into war without congressional approval. I actually gotta check. Did we actually get congressional approval? Yes, military operations in Iran began were launched by President Trump without prior authorization from Congress. So we basically launched ourselves into a forever war, or what could be a forever war, without Congress, which is illegal. It does not matter if we're right or wrong, it is illegal by the books. So this is an illegal war that is costing us billions of dollars of taxpayer money, that is literally already cost us valuable lives, and and even if we're not, no matter whether you support the war or if you support or against it, it doesn't matter. You're paying for it. If you're American, you're paying such higher prices for gas than what we should really be paying for. I find it ridiculous how I have to pay for a war I don't support, I don't want, that we don't need. Simple as that. And before you're like, oh my god, you support the dictatorship. No, I don't give a shit. The people who lead Iran are dictators. They're awful people. I've heard what they've done to women. But here's the thing, right? Do you know what happens in war? Civilians die. And also, by the way, he said, like, oh, we're going to be bombing plants, power plants and bridges. Listen. Do you know what in my book I call when you bomb civilian infrastructure? Terrorism. That's terrorism. Literally destroying infrastructure for civilians, causing chaos, that's literally essentially just terrorism. And by the way, if we wanted to, quote-unquote, make them liberate their country, how are they going to do it without infrastructure? Like bridges and power plants? Do you realize, I mean, like, again, look at the 2003 outage of power in America. 100 people plus died from that. You don't think Iranians will die from a power outage? Like, even if we took out their power plants, how many civilians would that kill? How many civilians that aren't even participating, that we're supposed to quote-unquote be liberating, would die from that? Listen, I know what this is. This is literally a war. This has always been about oil. It began, again, I've researched this topic very, very heavily. It began in 1953. We overthrew the democratically elected leader of Iran at the time. We put a guy who basically supported American oil interests. This pissed off the Iranians, and eventually, this little guy called, the Ayatollah, he rose to power and overthrew that government in 1979. And guess what? What was a nation in our control became what is essentially an Islamic extremist state, to my knowledge. So that guy dies, and the current leader that we just killed takes power, and that guy, that guy that takes power, he dies, and his son gets back in. Again, remember, I just want to let you guys know. No new wars, by the way. No new wars. But we start new wars. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care if whoever watches this is a shitty MAGA chud. I don't want to pay for a war that I do not support, that I do not care for. It is ridiculous. Again, we were spending like what, $890 million a day on this war? And apparently when we launched the war, our president wanted allies to help, and they said no, which I don't blame them. Again, I know this has been said a lot, but I think we need to enact the 25th Amendment. This guy's not competent. He literally just made essentially what is a terrorism threat to bomb another country's infrastructure, to make a quote civilization disappear. Does that sound sane to anybody? I bet you that if in the 2020s, if Joe Biden tweeted, "I'm gonna end X civilization tonight," everybody that follows Trump right now would lose their shit. I bet you, if this was a Democrat doing this, they would get shit. I would bet $1,000. I'd almost bet my whole life savings. They would get pissed over this. But because it's their own guy, they don't give a damn. Yeah, oil prices just took a huge decrease, which is good, but it looks like it's starting to level out right now. It's leveling out roughly around the like a $95.50 mark. But still, I feel like even if we stop the war right now, it's going to take a while for that price to go back. And if apparently we're going to re-begin our strikes in 2 weeks, any progress that was made reducing the price will probably be just erased. Reduced to atoms. And by the way, again, oh, they're building nukes. They're making uranium. You want to know why they're making uranium? Because we pulled out of the Iran deal in, what, 2017? Maybe. Maybe. If we didn't, pull out of that deal, maybe none of this would be happening. Imagine the billions of taxpayer money and the hundreds of lives that we could have prevented from ending if we simply would have not pulled out a deal. But the guy has the mind of a toddler, so you shouldn't expect that much. Is the partial shutdown ended yet? What? Is it over? My God, is it still done? I think it is. Jesus Christ. How about this? I have a new rule. If a government shutdown occurs, I think that the people that like caused the shutdown, actually not really. I choose to change my wording there. I think the people that decide whether to pass the funding, I think they should not be allowed to sleep or go on vacation or take a break until it's fixed. It's ridiculous how a bunch of federal workers can work without getting paid. Oh, the Democrats are Republicans. It's both them, dumbass. It's both them. They can't decide on whether to fund a bill correctly or not. And now people aren't getting paid. I would lose my shit. Like we're living in a society where if you miss a paycheck, you could get cooked. Like you could get just absolutely hammered. Like some people that are on these jobs, they can't miss a paycheck. They are living paycheck to paycheck. It's ridiculous. But yeah, again, it's one thing that's coming from this war that's positive. It's that countries, I've spoke on this many times before, but countries I think are starting to wake up towards how shitty of an energy source oil is. Now I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like the typical lib that like says, oh, oil bad, oil bad. A lot of people say oil bad and get on with it. I'll explain why oil is bad. Oil is bad. Well, actually, I should explain why oil is good. Oil is a pretty nice resource. It can be used to build composites and fuel, but it does have its downsides. It's environmentally unfriendly to extract, which, again, I mean, if you really consider all metals are environmentally unfriendly to extract. It, of course, is pollutive if it leaks in the environment, which a lot of the time it does. It kills the environment and degrades it, and it's harmful to people. Which, in my opinion, we should definitely be doing more in our society in order to actually phase out fossil fuels in for renewables, and it's not just because, oh my god, it's save the planet. No, do you know why I think we should phase out fossil fuels? It's because wind is just simply economically more viable. Like, I looked it up. Onshore wind costs $37 to $86 per megawatt hour. Coal, for the existing coal plants, is $100 per megawatt hour. The most expensive wind is not even more expensive. It doesn't even, compare to how expensive coal is. Coal is simply just more expensive. It's environmentally unfriendly. It is, let's be honest, it's ugly. People are like, oh, wind turbines are ugly. Really, you want some big-ass coal plants belching smoke all day long? Dude, when I can see a coal plant on a good winter day farther away than I can see any wind farm. I can see the plume of a coal plant like 20 miles away. Tell me that shit ain't ugly? In 2022, the global weighted average LCOE, levelized cost of energy for a new onshore wind, is 52% lower than the cheapest fossil fuel alternatives. So even if wind turbines didn't save the environment, quote unquote, they're simply cheaper. That's like saying, okay, I'm going to give you 2 gas cans. They are both 5 gallons. Each can has 5 gallons. The exact same chemical makeup. It's the exact same gas. I will sell you this gas for 86 cents. Or you can take the other can, which is the exact same as the first, and I'll give you $1. You're gonna take that 83-cent option. You're not paying an extra $1 for that. So why do we have to pay for extra wind or extra money for coal and shit? Source: Scientific American, Montana Environmental Energy System Center, and The Guardian. And here's another thing. Wind is simply more energy secure. Not just is wind more energy secure, it is logistically way better. I will say, the logistics for building a wind farm can be a pain in the ass, but once it's built, do its thing. For a coal plant, you have to always manage fuel inputs. You have to manage schedules, timetables. I mean, all jobs require that, but you have to really manage your resource input. With wind, this does not exist. There is no resource refuel. There is no, wait time for shipments of fuel. It is basically that's off the table. Oh, but wind is it doesn't blow a time. Fair point. But here's the thing: if you're gonna say wind is unreliable because of that, I have to hit back with, we literally have an Iran war going on right now, and oil prices, even though they just went down pretty decently today, they are not good, not fun. Marginal cost. In many cases, it is cheaper to build new wind capacity than to continue operating existing coal plants, as 99% of the U.S. coal plants are now economically outmatched by renewable energy. Let's see. However, there is one catch. While the cost of wind varies, while onshore wind is cheaper than coal, offshore remains more expensive, averaging $95 per megawatt, with a wide range of $52 to $182. So offshore wind is, it's... The good thing about offshore wind is that the offshore units produce a shit ton of power. We're talking teen megawatts, like tens of megawatts. Now, an onshore unit may produce 2 megawatts. An offshore unit, you're looking at like 10. But the problem is, they're usually about 30 miles offshore. I'm wrong there. It's probably about like 15, 20 miles offshore. And they can be harder to maintain out there. And they're a lot bigger and more expensive to put up and maintain in the ocean. Whereas onshore units are significantly cheaper. But to people that say they're ugly, I'm sorry, you favor coal plants over wind turbines? You like a giant factory belching smoke in the air versus a glorified fan? Again, controversial opinion. Even though I like wind, we should probably go for nuclear, but we can't because Chernobyl bad, nuclear bad. Nuclear very scary. Even though nuclear, although it's expensive to start up, it's probably a way better alternative than wind. The only way that wind beats nuclear, in my opinion, is nuclear is insanely expensive to start. So with nuclear, you have to pay a lot of money to build the plant, but after you do it, it's very cheap to run it. Also, by the way, renewable energy employs, like what, 1 million Americans. Renewable industries are starting to employ more people than coal. Well, if I'm not wrong, I think I read like 58,000. I think like roughly 40 to 58,000 people work in coal-fired plants. But for wind, I think it's like 300,000. Don't quote me on that. I know I know like 1 million people work in the renewable industry. If this was 30 years ago, I don't think wind would be viable. Wind would not be viable 30 years ago. But we've seen again, right now coal I think sits at about 7 cents per kilowatt hour. When wind started, it was like 60 cents. That's expensive. When we started in the 1980s, wind was so expensive. It didn't even look like it was going to do anything. But as advancements have grown and technological, improvements have been made to wind turbines, that price went from 65 cents to 4. Oh, I'm sorry, cents. According to www.energy.gov, wind energy has been reduced from 55 cents per kilowatt hour in 1988 or 1980, 55 cents to 3. By the way, the average price in Illinois for power is like 15 cents. Actually, let's... Let's see, the lowest I can see coal is 3.2 cents per kilowatt hour, with wind being at literally 3. And that's pence. That's UK. Here's another one. See, state line digital energy. Actually, I just got one. 6.9 to 16.9 cents per kilowatt hour, right? Okay, let's see. Full life. Let's look. Full life cycle. How many kilowatt hours does house make? Give me a second. So what I was saying is that coal tends to run about pretty much like 7 cents a kilowatt hour, right? Just like I had to rip ass. Let's see. So that's 75. So, if you powered your house for a day for wind, you have to pay this much. 2/4 and 4 dimes. It's how much you pay for wind energy per day if you run a 30 kilowatt hour a day system. Now, let's see, price of, let's say 6.9 cents per kilowatt hour. Let's be conservative. Actually, let's say 0.7 cents, but yeah, put 7 cents for ease of math. See this? So you pay this much. Give me a second. So you pay this much. Every single day you pay this much. Actually, let's represent with dimes, because that's way better. I'm going to represent that with dimes. I'm sorry. Give me a second, chat. I got to prove my point. I think if I use... Ow, god damn it. Okay. See this? This is how much it costs to power your house with wind for a day. For every 30 kilowatts, it's going to cost you this much for wind. See this? That's 90 cents, by the way. This is how much you're going to have to pay for coal. We just went from 9 dimes to 21. This is the cheapest, by the way. You have to pay $2.10 per day to power your home with coal. You have to pay 90 cents to power your day with wind. Now, huge caveat. You're never going to get 100% coal or 100% wind. You're always going to get like a factor of, power. For example, in Illinois, 58% of our power is nuclear. I bet you our house is powered by electricity generated from coal, wind, nuclear, all the fun shit. I don't, because whatever. Electricity goes on the grid and it goes everywhere. And you're wondering, okay, what's the matter? Like, that's a saving of like $1.10. What does that matter? Multiply $1.10 for 365. That's like what? $400? That's enough for a lot of groceries. That's enough for a month of groceries if you have a family of 5 like I do. And that's money that you're wasting. And but like, here's the thing, right? I don't get why people don't support that. Some people don't support wind farms. It gives so many jobs, permanent jobs. Like, here's the thing: a manufacturing job could be shipped over to China right now. You can't ship over a wind turbine technician role to China. What are you gonna do? Uproot the entire wind turbine farm and move it to China? No, you're not gonna do that. That's not gonna happen. I almost say wind turbine jobs are probably one of the most stable jobs out there. Energy jobs in general are just really stable, as it seems, because there's no way to offshore that, send it to another country. Also, by the way, another point I have to make for wind is safer. According to Statista, wind kills 0.04 people per terawatt hour. That means that wind needs to achieve 25 terawatts to kill a single person. The most safest fossil fuel, which is oil, it takes, for 1 terawatt, not 25, 1 terawatt kills 18.5 people. Wind kills 0.04. By the time wind energy kills a single person, oil kills hundreds. So, again, safer industry, safer power source. Even if wind was not viable, I think we should move towards a society that doesn't send people off in the middle of oceans and deep in the mines to get energy. Here's the thing, that energy where once it's burnt, it's gone, and it's spent permanently. Oh hey look, it's getting dark out now. Hello viewer. I don't see how that's a controversial thing. I think we should move towards a society where we don't have to send people in the caves to get energy to power our homes. We should switch to a more economically and just better source of power. And wind is the answer. Again, here's the thing, again, as I said, even if you take the economic or like the environmentalism out of the clean energy industry, clean energy is, again, simply way more economically friendly. You pay less for it. Again, we're talking 4 cents per kilowatt hour versus like 7. I just did some calculations. And if you run 30 kilowatt hours a day for your house, it'll cost you 90 cents per day for wind and $2.10 for coal at its cheapest. And I also did some more research. According to the USenergy.gov, coal clocks in at roughly $100 per megawatt hour, where onshore wind clocks in at the most expensive, $86. And the cheapest it gets is $34. Now, I will agree, offshore wind is more expensive. Offshore wind cannot compete with coal right now. So, you know, ocean-based wind turbines, they're not competing with coal right now. They're simply too expensive. The onshore units, though, that's another story. You know, another thing you can think about, another thing we can think about when it comes to wind, imagine if we could use trains, like, we could get rid of coal cars. Instead of hauling coal cars around all the time, we could use that space to haul other cargo pieces. And even haul more people. Yeah, I know, trains can be used to carry people. It's kind of like Europe does it, and America should do more of it. I mean, literally. Can we all agree that a wind turbine is a person's dream come true? You literally generate money out of thin air. Again, so many people want a machine that makes you money from literally doing almost nothing. And that's what wind turbines are. All you need is a little bit of maintenance and the upfront cost, and boom! You get free money. Of course, it's way more complicated than that, you know, zoning and shit, but you get my point. It is literally any capitalist's pig's dream come true. Infinite money glitch. Oh my gosh, this place looks amazing. Alright, I'm gonna get off. I might get on more tomorrow. Apologies if I just get off prematurely now. I need to get back in this game. Like, really? Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Be back tomorrow. And yeah, peace.